Hey there, friends. Welcome to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. From one COVID-19 bride to another, someday we will look back on this time period over 2020 and 2021 and hopefully maybe, into 2022. Maybe we'll look back at this time without crying into a bottomless glass of Merlot. But until that day comes, let's chat about business because couples are still rescheduling their weddings, as witnessed by tons and tons of stories and posts and comments and questions that are happening right now in the Legal Paige Facebook group. And the question continues to pop up and remains, should you as a wedding industry professional charge a rescheduling fee? Now, this is a question, like I said, I am consistently getting asked day in and day out, and rescheduling fees aren't one of those easy cut and dry issues. In fact, they fully depend on your business, your pricing, and your policies. And I know that's not something you want to hear, but as from all attorneys probably say, there's a gray area. There's a gray area for most legal questions, and that's very, very clear here. Now, with that being said, I can equip you with some solid legal information, though, surrounding reschedulings, and I can give you the best options available to you regarding rescheduling fees, and if so, how much do you charge? Knowledge is power. And so after listening to this podcast episode, I want you to walk away with confidence in your decision to charge a rescheduling fee or not. So, are you ready for this? Let's dig right in. You're listening to the Legal Paige podcast, where we chat about life and business with a legal twist. I'm Paige, attorney and photographer helping online businesses and creatives tackle their business dreams without breaking out in hives. No more legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast features simple, bite-sized advice that'll have you legally legit in no time. Are you ready? Let's get started. As a reminder, before we get into this episode, I am legally obligated to give my disclaimer. So I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. All legal information I talk about on this episode is intended for the masses and a large variety of different businesses. I am only your attorney when you hire me and we sign an engagement letter for me to work specifically on your legal issues. Please feel free to seek out another attorney in your hometown if you need specific legal advice or contact me for more information. Alrighty, here's the episode, friends. Okay, my friends, let's get into this as quickly as possible. Should you charge a rescheduling fee? The answer is fully going to depend on you and your business policies and practices, your morals and values as a business owner, and your clients. So ask yourself, is this the second or third time my clients are rescheduling? Am I missing out on dates that other couples could have booked through my business? And are my clients wanting to reschedule to, say, a prime Saturday date in 2022, now that 2021 is here and clients are still fearful of COVID-19 happening this summer? So they want to move to next year. And then ask yourself, do I need to charge a rescheduling fee? So if you are on your second or even third time rescheduling, any type of couple that is asking for this, a third time, even a second time, like I said, it's probably time to charge a rescheduling fee. And this is because you are missing out on dates you could have available to other couples at your new and increased rates. We, as wedding industry professionals, know that inflation highly impacts us as business owners. And so as we've moved into 2021, we have bumped up our rates. And as you move into 2022, you're going to bump up your rates. So you are putting in more work to rearrange this second or third rescheduling date. You have new and increased rates that they didn't book you for. And and sometimes you're switching to a completely different location or venue. All of those scenarios you really need to consider with your rescheduling fee. If this is the case, I really want you to fully consider charging that rescheduling fee for your couples, even if it's a tiny bit uncomfortable for you, because I am here to tell you this is commonplace. This is something that many wedding vendors are doing now that COVID-19 is a thing. People are aware of it. And if you are deciding not to have your wedding or event in 2021 and you're moving it to 2022, there should be some type of rescheduling fee, quasi penalty in place for, honestly, your clients voluntarily and, making that decision to do so. And it's going to impact you in the long run as a wedding industry professional. So we were all nice originally. A lot of us, we offered that complimentary first reschedule in 2020, especially at those beginning months of COVID-19 around March through May 2020. It was totally understandable to do that due to the state of the world with COVID-19. Nobody really knew when the world was going to open back up. We were all in quarantine. There was so many stay-at-home orders in place. There was lots of clients who couldn't travel. No one knew what was happening with the virus at that time. But now we are in 2021. The virus has been happening for over 10 months, almost 11 at this point when this episode airs. And now things have progressed. COVID-19 is ever present. It's not going away anytime soon. And it is a known factor in planning a wedding. So you are completely justified as a wedding vendor in asking for a fee when couples reschedule. Let me say that again so you can hear that really clearly from an attorney and a fellow wedding vendor. You are completely justified as a wedding industry vendor in asking for a fee when couples reschedule. You have to keep your business financially stable, and allowing endless complimentary reschedules is allowing your business to become a sinking ship. And I don't want that for you, and neither do your future clients, and neither does your friends and family, and neither does all of the other wedding industry professionals that enjoy working with you. I promise you, rescheduling fees are okay to do, and while we all want, right? We want our clients to be happy. We want them to not have to pay anything more than they already have. But what's important now is that we are forward thinking as wedding industry professionals by implementing rescheduling fees. Now, I just want to point out here, if this is your client's first time rescheduling, you absolutely have the option to decide to give them their first reschedule complimentary. But know that since COVID-19 is a known factor, that is something they should be taking into account when planning their wedding and event. I want all wedding vendors to be aware that it is completely reasonable, even at this stage, to charge a fee for that first reschedule, and then you can put that into your contract and your business policies. So I'm sure you're asking yourself, Paige, how much should I charge for the rescheduling fee and what is reasonable? Now, if you are charging a rescheduling fee, once again, how much you charge is totally up to you. But I'm going to give you some tidbits of information here that are going to be really important for figuring out what that amount is and, legally speaking, what should be a reasonable fee that you can charge. So the main thing legally to be aware of is the reasonableness, like quote unquote, reasonableness of the fee. A reasonable fee describes a fee that isn't too high or too low when it is compared with similar fees or a similar service. Now, when a court interprets whether a rescheduling fee is reasonable or not, it uses what is called, quote, a reasonableness standard, end quote. This is a test, and it weighs whether an individual engages in a reasonable way with their clients and whether an action was taken in a reasonable or unreasonable manner. So at this point, just know that court systems across the U.S. have said that there's really no clear precedent here. We have dug here at the Legal Page for case law precedent that's setting some type of standard for a reasonable rescheduling fee. But it is so circumstantial, and courts are taking matters on a case-by-case basis, and so many of them are still pending right now. So we're at the beginning of 2021, and a lot of case law that is trickling in from litigation is going to probably come out sometime this year because that litigation started in 2020. So at this point in time, after me and my legal team have scoured our legal research platform for like a reasonable rescheduling fee and kind of a starting basis for everyone, we can't find one because it's all pending and courts are still deciding. But what I want to tell you is, as we've been reading through a lot of these litigation documents, it's important for you as a wedding vendor to be aware that you should be able to justify what your rescheduling fee is and why it is a reasonable amount that you charge clients for moving their weddings to a new date. Also, be sure, you guys, that you are charging your clients the same fee. For example, if you charge one client a $1,000 rescheduling fee for a new, say, Friday date in 2022. So they want to move it from this year, 2020 to 2022. And you're like, okay, my standard rescheduling fee is $1,000. You need to charge that same amount to another client doing the same thing for a Friday date in 2022. And I'm going to get into how like prime dates can have a different rescheduling fee here in a second. But just set that base rate for like a regular rescheduling from 2021 to 2022. And my suggestion is to start with a percentage. We're going to turn that percentage into a flat rate because you guys know I love flat rates and I think it's really, really clear. So start with the average total wedding package that you charge your clients. So just go back for the past 6 months and be like, okay, this is what I've been charging all of my clients. They've all maybe chosen different packages. That's fine. Then divide it, of course, by the number of bookings. So how much you've booked by the number of bookings, you're going to get your average amount there. And then take about 30% of that average amount. And you're going to turn that into a flat rescheduling fee. I'm just going to lay this all out for you here. So say on average, you charge clients about $4,000 for your wedding package, okay? So you've found that average median amount, like I talked about. $4,000 is your average wedding package. 30% of that amount would be $1,200. So I want you to charge somewhere around $1,200 for a flat rate rescheduling fee. Or I want you to charge very, very similar to what a retainer fee would be on average for all of your clients. Now, this is important because the reason we charge retainer fees is to block out that date on the calendar that everyone else is saying no to. So you want a rescheduling fee for 2022 because I'm telling you right now, I am so forward thinking 2022 is going to be one of the biggest wedding years we've ever had. Everyone thought it was going to be 2021. And now we're in almost February 2021 and clients are still terrified and they all want to have that big wedding that they've always dreamed of. Well, many clients do. We all know that lots of clients are shifting and changing, their plans to adapt to the times and they're having, smaller, more intimate weddings or eloping. And that's all fine and dandy. But those clients that want those big weddings and they want everyone to be safe at their weddings, they are going to move to 2022. So with that being said, there's still going to be people who are getting engaged this year. There are people who have been waiting. 2022 is going to be one of the biggest wedding years I think that our industry has ever seen. So if you are just letting people reschedule right now to next year, and you're letting them do that without a charge, you are going to lose out on so much opportunity financially in 2021. Therefore, I want you to really, really contemplate what that amount should be. Look at what kind of your average retainer fee is, or about 30% of what your average total wedding package is. And that's going to be kind of your starting base for a rescheduling fee. And then you can also upcharge for prime dates like I talked about. So if $1,200 is your flat rescheduling fee for clients, you could keep that amount for all Sunday through Thursday reschedulings in 2022. But clients who would want, say, a prime Friday or Saturday date in 2022 would incur an additional fee, say, of $800 for blocking out a very, very desirable date on your calendar for any new clients. There's going to be people who want to have their weddings next year that are just starting to get engaged this year. Thus, you are going to keep the same fee for all clients, $1,200 for Sunday through Thursday, and $2,000, that's just that $800 upcharge, respectively, for Friday and Saturday prime dates in 2022. And it's up to them. Then you're giving it, all on a platter to your clients and saying, this is my standard rescheduling fee. You can do that on any date other than Fridays and Saturdays because I need to keep those open in 2022, at least the ones that I still have available, right? And it's up to them to say, which day of the week they are wanting to reschedule to, and they can make that decision for themselves. Now, like I've mentioned, the key here is to make this fee a flat rate for all rescheduling. So it's the same across the board with clients. A flat fee for clients is easily proven to be a reasonable fee, should you have to go to court to argue your rescheduling fee amounts. That fee is in place because of the loss of income to you, all of the administrative costs to rescheduling, and the loss of work and income to your business this year. If a client were to just keep their wedding date this year and not move it, you would be, of course, having better cash flow this year. So my hope for you is that you never have to go to court at any stage with a rescheduling fee, dispute. But just in case you do, I want you to be prepared to handle whatever arguments come your way. So remember those three. I'm going to go over them one more time for you. A rescheduling fee is in place because 1, the loss of income to you. 2, the administrative costs to rescheduling, and 3, the loss of work and income to your business this year. So again, remember, you're not only losing income next year from new clients, you're losing income this year because there could have been clients that would have kept their date and still paid you, the remaining amount that is due under their payment plan this year. Okay, so finally, whatever you do charge, you want it to be high enough that it's an incentive not to reschedule. That's the whole point of a rescheduling fee. Besides the loss of income and the administrative costs, the back and forth with working on your clients and sending out a new contract addendum for their rescheduled date, so on and so forth. One of the big things here is you want to charge a fee so that clients are incentivized to keep their date in 2021. So I would not suggest doing something like a $250 rescheduling fee. And I've seen that in the Legal Paige Facebook group, because that amount is really easy for clients to rationalize, and they will easily just reschedule for that amount. If I had like a $4,000 wedding package and it was just $250 for me to move from this year to next year versus like losing out on all that money and trying to make $250 is a drop in the bucket for lots of clients at this point. But you don't want clients, on the other hand, to feel like they are paying for an entirely new booking with you either. So don't be charging like a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, rescheduling fee. That's just above and beyond probably 50, 60, 70% of your wedding package. Just don't do that. That makes them seem like they are just canceling the wedding package that they have with you now and booking a whole new one next year. So they're losing out on a ton of money. The balance between ensuring that your rescheduling fee is high enough, but not too high, is tough. But this is really, really important. And if you at least start with your rescheduling fee, like I said, somewhere around your retainer fee or 30% of your average booking price, the full amount, right? 30% of that. It is a bit easier to explain to your clients or a judge why you chose that amount, because you'd be losing out, like I said, on other bookings, and you'd be losing out on another retainer, essentially, from a new client for that same date. Now, I hope that was really helpful to all of you listening in. Thank you so much. While I could give you advice and suggestions on this all day long, because this rescheduling fee issue is so hot in our industry right now, I want you to know, and I hope you have been empowered by me kind of talking about the differences and nuances with rescheduling fees in this episode. I want you to know that you have a decision to make. What works best for your business? And no one can do that but you. So don't be asking this question in 80 million Facebook groups or on Clubhouse right now, or asking a bunch of people in your, vicinity and colleagues that you always go to for questions, because everyone's going to have a very different philosophy on what they're doing for reschedulings now. We all kind of thought we were over the hump, right? At the end of 2020, we're like, okay, wedding season is going to happen in 2021. We've got this. It's going to go, through at least with somewhat flying colors. But then we all realized, okay, the vaccine, it's taking a while to roll out. And I think we all knew that kind of after the holidays, that January would hit and then February would hit, and clients are now taking reschedulings very seriously again, because no one really knows what's going to happen summer and fall of 2021. So hopefully by talking you through the reasoning behind why and when you should charge a rescheduling fee has been helpful. And it ultimately, I just want to give you the confidence to form new rescheduling policies as things have progressed over the past year or so. And I want you to be able to explain and, biggest thing here, enforce them with your clients. Now, if you're needing rescheduling documents, legal documents to support you with issuing rescheduling fees, I suggest using the Legal Paige's rescheduling and cancellation bundle. Now, that bundle is over 75% off. It's $97. It's one of our most purchased legal document bundles in the Legal Paige shop, because it includes all of the things you need in your legal toolkit to issue rescheduling fees effectively. It includes 2 contract addendums, 1 for the first reschedule and 2 for the second reschedule, or, so on and so forth after that. And then it also includes a rescheduling contract and a cancellation contract. And we're not talking about cancellation contracts here, but it's, of course, an additional resource that you get with this bundle. But the contract addendums and the rescheduling contract are all going to have very beneficial language, template legal language in those documents for you to implement your rescheduling fee. And you can go get that bundle at thelegalpaige.com. It's right there on the homepage. It's super easy to find. Again, that's our rescheduling and cancellation bundle. It includes 4 different legal documents in it. And you guys, that's all I have for you in this episode. If you have any further questions, or you want to continue this conversation on regarding rescheduling fees, you want to throw it out there to some other wedding vendors and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking for a rescheduling fee. This is what I want to do moving forward. Does this sound reasonable to you? A great place to ask that is in the Legal Paige community on Facebook. So if you just go to Facebook and you type in the search bar, the Legal Paige community, you can jump in there as a small business owner, just answer a couple of questions and we'll let you right into the group. It's a great resource right now as we are all gearing up and heading into a new wedding season. So everyone, thank you so much again. I will be here same time, same place next week for a new podcast episode. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. See, I told you being legally legit isn't so scary. Be sure to visit thelegalpaige.com for all show notes. And it would be super awesome if you could head over to iTunes and leave a review. Last but not least, don't forget to join my free Facebook group for unlimited legal and biz Q&A. Chat soon, Legal Pagers.